Thank you, Mohan, for coming all the way. Last year also we learned many things from you, and this last conference that you had, the workshop that you had, many people have taken amazing points from it. So tell us about what you do, and especially around the new development that you have, so then we can take it from there.
Of course. So this is my year 2 at the Digital Success Summit. I'm excited. I think the conference is growing year on year, so that's great. Yesterday I had my growth workshop. I take care of partnerships, mostly for the APAC region, for a company called DigitalOcean. We're a cloud infrastructure company, one of the fastest growing cloud providers in the world today. What we provide is really simple and cost-effective solutions, cloud solutions for startups and mid-sized businesses.
Right. And since there are a lot of SMEs here and also startups, they do not understand the difference between a cloud hosting and a shared hosting and a VPS.
Yeah.
So can you throw some light on what are the differences between these different hostings that you have?
Yeah, sure. So I think the cloud infrastructure, the cloud world itself has changed over time. I think people went from buying these servers, maintaining it, hiring teams to kind of manage it, upgrade all of that infrastructure. I think the world has really moved towards public cloud, private cloud, and when we look at broadly these public cloud and private cloud is where you have these companies that provide public cloud infrastructure, that they have data centers where you can pay as you go kind of thing. Really simple to use, very cost effective. You can scale up, scale down depending on your requirements. If things change in your company, your requirements, or if some certain projects hit peak traffic during a particular couple of months of the year, then you can increase the number of users, the resources that are there. But of course, when you put your data, which is really the most important thing for a lot of businesses, on the public cloud, then there is also potential that, and then there is general fear that it is open to hacking and people could abuse your data. So that's where the concept of private cloud came into existence. So a lot of companies, despite being on the cloud, they set up their own within their own network, so that it's not accessible publicly to anybody, but within their firewalls and all of that. So companies choose to get the benefits of public cloud, but still within their own networks. So that's private cloud. And again, this has led to various things. There is virtual private servers, VPS providers, which we started off as, right? So companies that only provide virtual machines for use, really simple. But over time, what DigitalOcean has done is, depending on our user requirements, we've added a lot more products and features. So today we've become a full-blown cloud provider. And what's the difference is, as a virtual private server, you're just providing basic compute resources and all of that. When to be called a full-blown cloud provider, you need all the 4 components. You need compute, storage, networking, and monitoring, right? So you need to have different sorts of products, features, all of that. So over time, that's what we provide. And today, with the world, the way things are moving with the world, people don't even want to manage infrastructure, right? Everything has become abstracted. Can we containerize it? Can we just manage at a very higher level? So there is a lot of newer technologies like Docker, Kubernetes. So we've had to introduce and just make some of these managed services available to our users as well. So that's what we provide, and hopefully I answered your question.
No, absolutely. And I remember when we started off, we were kind of competitors to Google Analytics. So we had websites which were getting 1 million traffic a day.
Yeah.
We had to, and we were free analytics, so we had to manage all the data. Managing that was such a pain, and I'm talking about 2003, 2004 kind of area. We had multiple servers in the HE, Hurricane Electrics, and we used to manage everything. Nowadays, nobody wants to take the pain. Everybody just want to go to the cloud and take this.
Exactly.
And you have given some special offers to the people who are attending DSS as well. Do you want to just highlight that, so someone who wants to take up the advantage of that, they can take the advantage of that?
Yeah, of course. So a lot of people want to try the platform before they kind of sign up for it, which I think is really valid, right? So we offer a free trial for a lot of our customers and potential users who want to test out the platform, see if it's a good fit for them even before they start investing. So there is a small link called do.co/DSS. So people can go sign up for $50 worth of free cloud credits. Test out our platform. On our platform, plans start as low as $5 a month. So really, you can test out any of our services, any of our plans, run it for a month. Your teams can see the UI, understand how we compare to maybe some of the existing solutions they're already using, understand the benefits, and then probably use our platform.
And since you work with a lot of startups as well as the SMEs which are growing up, is there some specific advice that you have for them, because they are the people who are generally they want to grow, but they do not have enough resources to grow, and they want to jump to that growth. And have you seen some kind of basic mistakes or areas where they should improve? And you've given many growth hacks. Maybe you want to talk about few pointers that can help the startups or the SMEs to grow further.
I think like we started about 7 years back. So in a way, especially in the market that we operate in, we are competing with big giants, right? So though we've been around for about 7 years, we're literally a small company, small startup. So we've done along the way, we've done a lot of mistakes, but we've also had really good lessons along the way in terms of how can you keep things simple. I mean, for really startups, one advice, or even mid-sized businesses, right? So identifying that one thing that you are offering to the customers. A lot of people try to move too fast, try to add a lot of products, try to add a lot of features. But really identifying that one thing that you do well, one thing that's your USP, your key value proposition, and doing it really well, I think that will help you kind of really make a name for yourself. And then of course, as you kind of scale, you need to add more products, you need to add more features, but don't try to do everything at the beginning, right? Initially, you need to identify what is it, that one thing that differentiates you in that market, identifying either a gap in the market that some of your competitors are not offering, or maybe yours is a brand new idea, right? So in that case, what is that one thing that you become well known for and doing it really well? For us, it was just identifying that there was a gap in the market that some of the other cloud providers weren't hitting, identifying a target segment. Because we could have said we want to be for individual developers, startups, mid-sized businesses, enterprises. We could have gone crazy, right? But we said we will choose developers as our initial segment, and of course then it became personal developers and professional developers, and of course these personal developers are also professional developers. They go work with companies, they start influencing what cloud to use. So and then there were teams of developers, so we were kind of growing with our users, right? So and then they are today leading bigger companies, so we want to support their needs. So in a way, just being more mindful of our customers' requirements and being in touch with them, getting on calls with them, understanding what are they building, what one thing we do really well is we have something called user voice, where a lot of our users can tell us what products we should be building. Wow. They almost kind of inform our product map, right? They say we need these features, so we start listening to, and then we'll start seeing patterns. A lot of users are asking for something, then we know that's what we need to build to retain our users, to bring in more users. So I mean, that would be my advice for a lot of stuff.
I think these are important things to understand, that when you scaling up user wise and scaling up user satisfaction wise, I think first you need to think about user satisfaction wise, then scaling up user wise automatically happens, and people love empowered. So once you start listening to them, I'm sure that they will give you amazing advice, and I think no company is capable of coming up with all the ideas. You have to depend on the users to come forward and start giving you the advices, which is amazing stuff. And is there anything that if someone is looking at kind of shifting their hosting, or they're looking at, or maybe they're thinking that their website is slow, and how can they understand whether there's a problem with their hosting or there is a problem with their website? Is there something sequential that they can go through, or they will have to rely on a random steps?
I think sometimes just understanding the options available to you, right? Also understanding what is your requirements, what products do you actually need. Sometimes startups are just hosting websites, or sometimes it's multiple applications, right? So their requirements will change. So understanding what are their requirements, what are our options, and kind of going and kind of purchasing. So there are bigger cloud providers that provide a lot of managed services, a lot of add-on services. So if they require it, they should go. Otherwise, they could try to keep things simple, go for lower cost solutions, which keeps really things really simple, so they don't have to end up hiring teams to manage complex infrastructure that they don't end up using, right? In terms of steps itself, I think there are today, especially for startups, there's a lot of resources in the ecosystem. There are companies like us. We run a startup program itself called Hatch. It's a global startup program where we partner with a lot of accelerators, venture capital firms, incubators, co-working spaces who are all supporting startups. And we say we want to support startups in their initial phase of growth. So we give them free credits for 1 year so that they can use. We can help them if they've not raised any funding and all of that. Then we also give them access to our tech experts. So our tech experts get on calls with them, meet them face to face, understand what the requirements are to help optimize their infrastructure, and so that they are also built for scale. Because a lot of startups don't build for scale. They are like, where are we today? We'll go buy some infrastructure, but tomorrow if we need to scale, is your architecture capable of supporting you to get to that level, right? So you need to ensure a lot of best practices are put in place, a lot of the foundation of your infrastructure and the technologies that you use, right? It's an important thing in terms of what is your tech stack looking like, how are you building so that tomorrow you have the capability to grow and scale. So there are certain things, and I'm sure similar to DigitalOcean, there are a lot of companies which provide these services for startups, so startups should leverage that.
I think that's a point that all the growing companies should take up. Is the most expensive thing in your company is the resource of the top heads, and sometimes the technical people, they get into this interesting thing that I want to solve the technology problem and I want to solve the customer problem. I think the technology problem can be taken care by the technology experts, and the customer problem is no one is taking care of. I think you should focus on what you're good at, and rest of the things, the support is available in the ecosystem. And the last question, since this is our second edition of DSS, and we are running a small series where we are asking our experts to share, in fact everyone can share 2 powerful tips. So we are saying 2 years, 2 tips. So what are the 2 tips that you want to share? So, and it can be from any walk of life, and that can benefit our users.
So I think I'd like to say something that DigitalOcean as a company believes in, and I think that very well aligns with certain things that I have learned and I really believe in. And this applies both for individuals in their life as well as companies when they look at growing and scaling, right? So one tip would be keeping things simple, right? Because simplicity is very undervalued, be it in our personal lives, be it in our professional lives, be it as companies. It's easy to complicate things. It's easy to add more. It's easy to do more things and complicate it. And even as people, I think in our personal lives, there is very little we require on a day, but we can so easily complicate things, like with the whole social media thing. We can easily start comparing and all of that. And from a personal level, it can lead to just a lot of unhappiness, a lot of like constant comparison, a lot of constant stress and pressure and all of that. Even as startups, you're trying to do too many things. Like I said earlier, right? Keeping things simple is very hard. It requires very mindful, conscious decision to do one thing correctly, and even as people to really people talk about work-life balance and trying to do too many things, but if they really are able to focus and concentrate on a few good things that they can do very well, that's really, and in DigitalOcean we believe that, right? Even our product teams, we're always saying, is it simple? When people come up with new ideas, new programs, new features, we keep saying, does it keep our product really simple? So, and I think that has really led to DigitalOcean and how the way we think about our product roadmap, right? So we started off with the promise of we are a simple platform. Today, it's easy for us to get ambitious and be like, we are all, everything for everybody. But just to say we are not, we are focused on simplicity, and that you can always be assured. We will add more products and functionalities, but we will still keep it user intuitive, user friendly. So simplicity is one thing. The other is community. Right, a lot of us try to do a lot of things by ourselves. The power of community, be it in our professional lives, be it in when it comes to company is really valuable. And I think just leveraging the power of community, right? Even in our personal relationships, we all have friends, we all have families that we can leverage, that we can just thinking about the power of connections and how our own networks, how valuable these are in terms of reaching out, helping, and maybe I'm not good at a lot of things, but I can always connect with people who are good at, learn from them, or get them to do stuff for me that they are good at and that they enjoy, right? So community, even from startups, I think the startup community is there, the developer community, the open source community, right? And today the world is just like one big community if you look at it that way. If you're able to leverage, if you're able to open up, share learnings and learn from one another. So the other thing is community, just how open you are to, and even these conferences, we do these conferences, so like it still amazes me, like people do conferences all the time, and still a lot of people end up coming. So why is it that it's so important? And today, especially with everything online, why are offline events even a thing? Because we all love connecting with people. We all love hearing from one another. People are listening to successful entrepreneurs on the main stage because people want to hear from one another, learn from their personal journeys and stories. So the other thing would be community, just leveraging that.
I think these tips are absolutely brilliant. And if you see simplicity, I normally say that complexity is granted. Simplicity has to be derived out of it. So simplicity requires a lot more work than the complexity in itself.
Absolutely.
I remember somebody saying that, who wrote a letter saying that, honey, I am in hurry, so I'm writing a long letter. So complicating is too easy, but simplifying is too difficult, and that certainly pays off in the long run if you keep it simple. And the second one that you said about community and the recent death that we have seen at the CCD founder, a lot of entrepreneurs have come forward and said that everyone needs a community around, so that when things are wrong or things are going bad, you should talk to other people and then try to see how we can leverage it. And times will be bad at few phases of your business. Having a good community always helps. And I think these are important things, and we will share more. And if you have more queries about DigitalOcean, or you have more queries from Mohan, send us the queries and we will get all the answers. Thank you.